Have you ever wondered how a small island nation became the ruler of a quarter of the world's population? This is the tale of the British Empire, a story that begins in the 16th century, an era of transformation and unprecedented change for England. Emerging from the Middle Ages, England was considered a backwater, far removed from the flourishing cultures of the Mediterranean. But this was soon to change. The 16th century marked the dawn of a new era. England began to shrug off its medieval past and transform into a bustling, vibrant nation. This was a time of exploration and discovery, of scientific advancement and cultural renaissance. The Elizabethan era, named after Queen Elizabeth I, was a golden age for England. It was under her rule that England began to rise as a global power. Queen Elizabeth's reign was marked by the establishment of colonies in the Americas and the rise of sea power. England's naval strength was a key factor in its initial ascent on the global stage. The defeat of the Spanish Armada in 1588 was a turning point, marking England as a formidable maritime force. Simultaneously, the establishment of colonies in the Americas was a game-changer. These colonies provided England with resources and wealth, setting the stage for its future empire. This was the beginning of England's colonial ambitions, the kernel from which the mighty British Empire would grow. But the story doesn't end here. This was just the first chapter in a long, complex narrative. The journey from a small island nation to the ruler of a quarter of the world's population was an arduous one, filled with triumphs and setbacks, victories and defeats. This was just the beginning of a journey that would make Britain the most powerful nation in the world. From these humble beginnings arose an empire that would span continents and shape the course of history. The dawn of the British Empire was a defining moment, a testament to the power of ambition, resilience and the indomitable human spirit. But how did the British manage to expand their influence so vastly across the globe? The answer lies in the 17th and 18th centuries, a period marked by a surge in trade and territorial expansion. During this era, Britain, driven by a desire for wealth and power, began to extend its reach beyond its own shores. The establishment of the East India Company in the early 17th century marked a significant turning point. This company, armed with a royal charter granting it a monopoly on trade with the East Indies, became a key player in the British Empire's growth story. The East India Company not only traded in commodities like spices, tea and cotton, but also wielded political influence, establishing control over vast territories in India. What started as a commercial enterprise soon transformed into a political powerhouse, shaping the course of history in the Indian subcontinent. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, the British were also making their mark on the Americas. They established colonies, exploiting the vast natural resources and setting up trade networks that would fuel the empire's growth. From the tobacco fields of Virginia to the sugar plantations of the Caribbean, the colonies became a source of immense wealth for Britain. But the British Empire's expansion wasn't limited to Asia and the Americas. Africa, too, was drawn into its sphere of influence. As the slave trade grew, so did British control over key regions in West Africa. This dark chapter in history, while undoubtedly a source of shame, undeniably contributed to the empire's growth. And then there was the East, where Britain established colonies in places like Singapore and Hong Kong, further cementing its position as a global superpower. By the close of the 18th century, the British Empire had become a force to be reckoned with. From the Americas to Africa, from India to the Far East, the sun truly never set on the British Empire. With vast territories under its control, the British Empire was growing exponentially. This growth, driven by trade and territorial expansion, laid the groundwork for the empire's rise to global dominance in the centuries to come. The Industrial Revolution, a turning point for Britain and the world. This period, spanning the late 18th to early 19th centuries, was a time of monumental change. It was during this time that Britain, already a significant global player, transformed into an economic powerhouse. In the blink of an historical eye, Britain shifted from a largely agrarian society to an industrial one. This transition was not without its growing pains. As factories sprouted up across the land, so too did cities. The population flocked to these urban centers, drawn by the promise of employment. This rapid urbanization brought about a host of social changes. While it led to increased wealth for some, it also resulted in squalid living conditions and harsh working environments for many. Yet within these challenges, there were also opportunities. The Industrial Revolution sparked a technological renaissance. Innovations in steam power, the development of the spinning jenny, and the advent of the power loom, among many other advancements, revolutionized manufacturing. Goods could be produced at a scale and speed previously unimaginable. As industries flourished, so did Britain's economy. The empire's wealth grew exponentially. This wealth not only fueled further industrial growth but also allowed for the expansion of the empire. The empire's sphere of influence extended across the globe, with its colonies providing raw materials for the factories back home and serving as markets for their finished goods. This era saw Britain becoming the world's leading industrial nation, an economic juggernaut. Its factories churned out goods that were shipped around the globe, its ships dominated the seas, and its railways crisscrossed the continents. Britain's global influence was at its zenith. And so it was that the Industrial Revolution, with its blend of challenges and opportunities, its mix of turmoil and triumph, reshaped Britain and the world. It was a period of transformation, a time of unprecedented change. The Industrial Revolution catapulted Britain to a level of power and wealth it had never seen before. The Victorian era, the pinnacle of the British Empire. This period, spanning from 1837 to 1901, was marked by the reign of Queen Victoria, a period of peace, prosperity, and refined sensibilities. It was during this time that Britain reached its zenith, both in terms of territorial expansion and global influence. The Victorian era was characterized by a flurry of exploration and colonization. The scramble for Africa, as it came to be known, saw Britain expand its territories across vast swathes of the African continent. From the sandy dunes of Egypt to the verdant landscapes of the Cape, the British flag was hoisted high and proud. This territorial expansion was not limited to Africa. Across the globe, from the icy landscapes of Canada to the sun-kissed beaches of Australia, the reach of the British Empire was felt. This was also the period that saw the establishment of the Commonwealth, a political association of 54 member states, nearly all of which were territories of the former British Empire. This unique organization, with the British monarch at its head, served to promote economic cooperation, human rights, and world peace. It was a testament to Britain's global influence and the diplomatic ties it had established. The Victorian era was not just about territorial expansion, it was also a time of cultural, scientific, and industrial advancement. British literature, arts, and philosophy flourished, influencing cultures far and wide. The era saw the likes of Charles Dickens and Thomas Hardy, whose works continue to be celebrated today. Scientific discoveries and technological innovations were aplenty, shaping the world as we know it. The Victorian era was also marked by a sense of moral responsibility and a mission to civilize the world. This white man's burden, as Rudyard Kipling put it, was often used to justify Britain's colonial endeavors. At the height of its power, the sun truly never set on the British Empire. Every corner of the globe, from the Americas to the Antipodes, felt the influence of this mighty empire. It was a time of unparalleled growth and influence, a time when Britain truly ruled the waves. But even the greatest empires have their downfalls. As we turn our attention to the tumultuous period of the First World War, we see the British Empire, so recently at its zenith, facing unprecedented challenges. The First World War, a global conflict that raged from 1914 to 1918, brought about profound changes. For the British Empire, it was a colossal test of resources, resolve, and resilience. The financial burdens were immense. Britain spent an estimated £3.25 billion on the war effort, a staggering sum that equates to around £217 billion in today's money. This financial strain put the empire's economy under tremendous pressure. But it was not just the monetary cost that weighed heavily on the empire. The human toll was devastating. Over 800,000 British soldiers lost their lives, and a further 2 million were wounded. This loss of life was felt deeply across the empire, with virtually no community untouched by the tragedy. The war also had a significant impact on the empire's global standing. Despite emerging as one of the victorious powers, Britain found itself in a weakened position. Its once dominant navy was less effective in the new age of air power and mechanized warfare, and its global influence was being challenged by the rising powers of the United States and Soviet Russia. Moreover, the war stirred up nationalist sentiments in many of Britain's colonies. Soldiers from India, Canada, Australia, and other parts of the empire had fought bravely on the front lines. On their return home, they brought with them new ideas about independence and self-rule, planting the seeds of change that would eventually lead to decolonization. The First World War marked a turning point for the British Empire. It was the beginning of the end, the start of a slow decline that would see the empire gradually lose its power, prestige, and territories. Yet, even in its twilight years, the British Empire left a lasting legacy that continues to shape our world today. The aftermath of war brought about a wave of change. The dust of the battlefields had barely settled when the British Empire found itself confronting a new reality. The world had shifted, and the once mighty empire was navigating a path towards decolonization. The end of the Second World War marked the beginning of an unprecedented wave of decolonization. The process was neither swift nor seamless, but it was inevitable. The war had drained Britain of its resources, and maintaining control over its vast territories became increasingly untenable. Countries under British rule began to clamor for independence, fueled by the promise of self-determination and the desire to shape their own destinies. India was the first to break away, gaining independence in 1947. This momentous event signified more than just the end of British rule. It represented a turning point in the empire's decline. Other countries soon followed suit, including Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and Ghana, each carving out their own narratives of independence. Yet, amidst this rapid decolonization, a transformation was taking place. The empire was evolving, reshaping itself into what we now know as the Commonwealth of Nations. This association of independent countries, most of which were formerly part of the British Empire, emerged as a testament to the enduring influence of British rule. The Commonwealth of Nations provided a platform for cooperation, fostering shared values of democracy, human rights, and economic development. Its formation marked a shift from imperial dominance to equal partnership, a testament to the empire's ability to adapt and evolve in the face of change. Through this metamorphosis, the British Empire managed to retain some semblance of relevance and influence, albeit in a radically different form. The empire that once spanned the globe, dominating vast swaths of territories, had been replaced by a community of nations bound by shared history and common values. The British Empire was no more, but its legacy lived on through the Commonwealth. The echoes of its influence can still be heard today, in the languages we speak, the institutions we rely on, and the world we navigate. What remains of the British Empire today? A question that might stir a whirlwind of thoughts in our minds. The British Empire, once the largest in history, has left an indelible imprint on the world, an imprint that can be seen in every corner of the globe. The legacy of the British Empire is multifaceted, a complex tapestry woven with both positive and negative threads. On one hand, the empire was instrumental in spreading the English language, now a lingua franca used in international diplomacy, business, and science. This linguistic legacy has bridged gaps between nations and cultures, facilitating global communication and cooperation. Moreover, the empire played a pivotal role in the development of global trade. It established trading routes and systems that have shaped the modern global economy. The industrial innovations birthed in Britain during the empire's zenith continue to underpin many sectors of the world's economies. Yet it's crucial to remember that this legacy is not without its dark side. The empire's expansion often came at a heavy cost to indigenous populations. Exploitation, oppression, and cultural erasure were unfortunate byproducts of the empire's rule, leaving scars still healing today. Culturally, the empire has had a profound impact. From cricket in India to tea in America, British culture has permeated societies far beyond the Isles' shores. Yet this cultural diffusion was a two-way street. The empire was also transformed by the cultures it encountered, a testament to the interconnectedness of our world. The British Empire was a force of change, a catalyst that shaped the world as we know it today. It was a chapter of history marked by grandeur and grief, innovation and injustice, unity and unrest. It was a testament to humanity's quest for exploration and understanding, even as it reminds us of the perils of unchecked ambition. The British Empire may be a thing of the past, but its influence is still felt around the globe today. Its legacy, both the triumphs and the tragedies, continues to shape the world, a testament to the enduring impact of this once formidable empire. From a small island nation to a global superpower, the story of the British Empire is a captivating tale of power, ambition, and influence. A saga that began with the dawn of an empire, a time when Britain was just finding its footing on the world stage. The age of trade and expansion marked the next chapter in the empire's story, as Britain spread its wings across oceans and continents, establishing colonies and trade routes, propelled by the desire for wealth, power, and prestige. The sun never set on the British Empire as its dominion extended from the Americas to Asia, Africa, to the Antipodes. The Industrial Revolution played a pivotal role in the empire's expansion, transforming Britain into the world's leading industrial and trading nation. It was a time of unprecedented technological advancement and economic prosperity, but also of social upheaval and environmental change. The Victorian era saw the empire reach its zenith, a period of imperialistic fervor and national confidence. It was the golden age of the British Empire, a time when its influence was felt in every corner of the globe. But the First World War marked the beginning of the end for the empire. The devastating conflict exposed the empire's vulnerabilities and set the stage for its eventual decline. The post-war period was marked by decolonization, as countries once under British rule began to assert their independence. The empire was dismantling, but its influence remained, shaping the politics, economies, and cultures of its former colonies. The legacy of the British Empire is complex and far-reaching. Its influence can still be seen today in the English language, legal systems, and cultural practices prevalent in many parts of the world. It's a testament to a time when a small island nation wielded immeasurable power and influence. The British Empire has left an indelible mark on the pages of history, reminding us of a time when one nation ruled a quarter of the world's population.